to you from the heart of the expanded heartland of the White Lions. How do we weave wholeness back into our lives after a year of such extensive human conflict? Grievous harm has been done to our earth, to our people of all cultures. How do we weave our way back into wholeness? This weaving of love that begins with the heart, that quality of fearlessness, inspired by love and respect for the natural world that enables us to transform our human world. It's the lion heart that is birthing at this time in humanity. And I speak to you after a year of great challenge in the project for the White Lions, of the White Lions. We have ended this year and begun on this first day of rest. After incredible battling for Earth, it has been a battle for the last wild places. It has been a huge conflict with authorities and so-called patriarchal forces of old-style dominion and consumerism. Those forces that believe it is okay to keep lions in cages, to keep animals in feeding lots, to treat our earth as a place of consumption and abuse at all levels. And at the end of this year of battle, we ended triumphant. This is the expanded White Lion heartland territories secured for the White Lions. We've expanded their ancestral homelands by over 300%. 4,000 hectares of virgin territories are now secured for them. Actually, with the original heartland, 6,000 hectares. And this is not only the place where they will roam free again, as is their ancestral right. It is a wildlife corridor that opens up into the Elephant River, allowing for the flow and the transmigration of every imaginable species, ultimately, previously blocked to nature. So I begin 2024 with hope in my heart. And I'd like to share that with you. I'd like to share what it is to weave our way back into wholeness. I did have my moments of doubt, of fear, of depression. Really, the understanding that humanity has gone so wrong in our relationship with the earth. And I had countless encounters with people of authority and what I took to be opposing forces, those who believe that it is acceptable to secure wild places on the grounds that it is a hunting ground, to make money by hunting lions, leopard, elephant, rhino, and buffalo, the so-called big five of the old colonial hunting model. But I also realized in this year that seeing these forces as oppositional is not helpful. I also realized that many of these places that have been protected under this dominion model have nevertheless been protected, and that therefore there are ways of collaboration across ideological divides that will put Earth first. And so the model that I have worked with, the sacred model of sacred sites that recognizes these last sacred places on the globe are critical for the restoration of the entire planet, is the model that'll take us forward into 1,000 years of peace, into true harmonious coexistence with our planet. But I'm not rejecting other efforts. I am collaborating going forward with a whole new sense that so much more can be achieved across old divides, weaving that way back. You know, if you know my work, that I first discovered what I now describe as the Golden Meridian, shown to me by the white lions, this line of light, if you like, through Africa with all the sacred sites aligned from the white lion birthplace all the way to the resting place of the Sphinx in Giza, all the way north to 0 degrees, and then up through the Nile to Giza, all the way south through Adam's calendar, the oldest, many believe the oldest calendar on the planet, and all the way down to Durban, Phoenix, which Mahatma Gandhi activated as a sacred site all those years ago. I discovered this central meridian line that is in fact a tectonic plate that I now understand to be the birth canal of speciation on the planet. That is why the white lions guard this meridian and guard the restitution of Earth and all speciation. As flame bearers, they guard the continuum of life. And it was now, let me think, more than a decade ago that I did prayer with Shelley and Jan, who have created this really important commence to each year in deep rest as we go into the stillness of knowing that God exists in nature, that God exists on earth. That stillness, 7 days of peace, 7 days of rest. And we were in the heartland of the white lions, and we did prayer of alignment from the heartlands to the holy lands. Now, we need to ask, how do the holy lands now weave their way back to peace across the divides that have been created with such bloodshed, with such accusations of blame, recrimination, where we truly have witnessed the victim-tyrant swing? Who is the victim in this? Who is the tyrant? And those claiming victimhood through tyrannical behavior, to justify tyrannical behavior. We really have witnessed this seesaw of atrocities, both in the war that is taking place in Central Europe between Russia and the Ukraine, and then the war in the so-called Holy Land of the Middle East. How does the Middle East find wholeness again? How do we weave wholeness back into our world? Well, it starts with us at an individual level, because wholeness exists, wholeness being the holiness, the original plan of the ecosystem. And how we find it in ourselves is to find our way back to our hearts, specifically in my teaching, the lion heart, that quality of fearlessness, inspired by love and respect for our natural world that enables us to transform our human world. It truly makes us unstoppable when we find and reclaim our principles direct from nature. In that way, we find and reclaim our true natures. And so that is the golden thread that takes us back to the healing, to the remembrance. You know the myth of Osiris on this golden meridian in Egypt. Osiris, the sacred masculine, who was carved up into 14 pieces, his body distributed around the globe to prevent the peace plan from taking place. It was his beloved Isis who retrieved the various pieces of the dismembered king the sacred masculine king Osiris and pieced him together to remember the sacred masculine. So yes, the sacred masculine is absolutely critical. It is not only the sacred feminine in Mother Earth who is remembering her sanctity, who is reclaiming her dominion. You know, the goddess figures have reinstated themselves in White Line territories. Sekhmet is alive and well. Across the globe, across this golden meridian, all the way around on the other side of the globe, in Tahiti and Hawaii, Pele reclaiming land through the lava flows, is reclaiming her dominion. So the sacred feminine is alive and rising, but the sacred masculine is equally being called forth in this process. This harmonizing between the sacred masculine and feminine, so important in the remembering of the dismembered king. And so to find our way back to wholeness is to find the sacred feminine in the masculine and the sacred masculine in the feminine. And now, this year, in the days leading up to this first day of rest, with all the challenges, all the oppositional blockages to the lions carving their way to peace. For of course, they hold the peace plan. They are the whole and holy ones who live the peace plan, who walk it back on earth with every step that they take. These star lions who walk the light of the heavens back to earth. Because the lions are roaming their expanded territories, nature is flourishing in one of the last lion biodiversity areas on the globe. And when nature flourishes, life flourishes. And when life flourishes, human life has a chance of restoring our sacred relationship with the planet. Why are these wild places so important? Not only for climate mitigation, as is now understood, biodiversity areas hold the key to the restoration of the healing of our planet and therefore the climate crisis that we find ourselves in. But they also hold the key to the continuance of life of all species, knowing, as I know, that all species play a role in the rebalancing, in the harmonizing of the original plan on our planet. And humanity's role is to find our way back to the sacred garden. How do we do that? By committing to restoring our sacred relationship with our planet in humility. Humility. There is no place for ego, for self-importance, for the sense that we have dominion over our planet. That should be long gone. We need to come back into sacred relationship with our planet, and in doing so, we will restore those threads to wholeness and to peace. And how we do this is at an individual level, because peace, the codings of the golden age of peace exist. It is predestined that this shall return to earth. It is already here. But we at an individual level need to find our way back to that peace. How do we do that? By our daily decisions, how we live our lives, how we conduct ourselves with others, how we choose to gain responsibility for our actions. That is the 8th law of lion-hearted leadership. Gain the ability to respond to ourselves, to the crisis, to others. It is a gaining of that golden quality of being in response. Each one of the 13 laws of lion-hearted leadership is a remembrance of our true natures and a way of weaving our way back to sacred relationship with Mother Nature, to wholeness and holiness. And when we do that on an individual level, we find the golden age within our living context. So what the lions have shown me over the decades is something I believe profoundly important, and I'd like to share it with you again. I've done this on a few occasions, but the lions live the difference between the predetermined golden age through predation as opposed to consumerism. I'd like to speak into the difference between the lions as predators, there's that beautiful word, predator, and humans locked into our consumerist model of taking without giving back except pollution, of believing that we are locked into a need and greed want model as opposed to gifting model. That is the model that the white lions live and embody and enact in the ecosystem. They show us in the ecosystem that everything is gifting of itself. Everything is unique. Everything has a unique role to play. And that is even within a single species. Even if you look at a tree and you look at every single leaf, it might have the coding of that particular oak tree. But each leaf is a unique representation of that coding and plays its unique role in the tree of life, for instance. So if we see ourselves as unique representations of the whole and the holiness of life, we will find our way back to the garden. We will find our way back to our unique role that we have been gifted life to enact and to experience in this lifetime. To achieve the weavings of wholeness, we need to commit to life. In every breath that we take, in every decision that we make, we need to support the affirmation of life. And that is in everything. When we make those decisions, we are walking the way of the great way. We are walking our way back to peace and to wholeness. And that is the path of the white lion that has been born into these times of crisis to walk the way of the great way. So in my project, I follow the white lion's lead and leadership, knowing that they lead us to the golden age of peace. For me, the key is to remember that we are not in charge here. Mother Nature is. The force, the source of life force that runs through Mother Nature as she remembers and reclaims her dominion, as she raises her consciousness. In my life, in all that I do, I see it in every way, every day. I see that Mother Nature is awakening, and she will not accept the abuse of the past. She's inviting us to come with her, but she's not waiting for us any longer. She's given us so many warnings, so many invitations. She is reclaiming her true force, which is pure light. It is the plan of light, and it is the path towards the peace plan, towards the golden age that has been prophesied in all cultures. Excuse me, I'm literally dripping with sweat as the sun sets over the heartland and celebrating the experience of being alive. And part of recognizing that nature is the key and that our experience of serving her as lion-hearted humans is the way, is my experience over the past couple of decades to actually witness how the white lions, once restored to their ancestral lands, converted a wasteland into a wonderland, into a holy land. And so I'm going to be sharing this video with you again, evidenced through Google Earth, of how the original lands which I managed to secure for them, which was and is their original homeland, was purchased at unbelievable or under unbelievable duress, and was devastated land. But within years, within a decade, it was converted under their paw print into the Garden of Eden. And so I'm showing you that video that you might be familiar with once more. It also shows the alignment, this sacred ley line that runs through Africa, recognized by the ancients of so many cultures as the birth canal, not only of speciation, but actually the human species. And so once again, the invitation for humanity to rise, to become lion-hearted, is taking place on this golden meridian. Yes, it's taking place in the White Lion heartland, because the white lions are leading the way. And that birth of the new human is an invitation to everyone around the globe to follow our hearts. I truly come to you with hope at this incredible turning point. In the midst of the meltdown, in the midst of the crucible, the phoenix is birthed. Watch this video and share with me the hope that I feel with the white lions now protected to do the work that had always been theirs in the predestined returning to a sacred planet. Like the vital organs of the body, powerful biodiversity hotspots on Earth hold the source codes for the revitalization of our entire planet and the flourishing of life itself. Life began in Africa, and speciation is associated with the East African Rift Valley at the epicenter of Earth's land masses, also referred to by evolutionary scientists as the birth canal of the human species. The white lions were born on the Nilotic meridian along the East African Rift tectonic plate and, significantly, in alignment with the most important architectural sacred sites on the African continent, Giza, Great Zimbabwe, Barberton. This means that humankind's greatest lion monument, the Great Sphinx and Pyramids of Giza in the north, align exactly with the birthplace of the white lions in the south. The white lions originate in this one location only on Earth, Timvavati, meaning place where the star lions came down in the old Shangaan language, and their heartland, Tsao, meaning star lion. But while the African wisdom keepers have long revered the white lions as holy animals and bringers of peace and prosperity, their critically important role in the ecosystem is less well understood. Their cultural role in restoring hope to humankind is equaled by their ecological role in restoring health to their ecosystem. Today we are faced with a pervading sense of the devastation and desecration of Mother Earth, as immortalized in Disney's Lion King story. When the true king is removed from his kingdom, a wasteland ensues. But there is a way to come back into right relationship with our planet. When the apex animal is restored in its natural kingdom, the flourishing of all species in the ecosystem is assured. The white lions may be living legends, mythic in their majesty and iconic in their radiant solar power, Yet their ability to restore health and healing to their natural ecosystem is fundamental ecology at its best. Importantly, their place of origin is in the epicenter of South Africa's Kruger to Canyons biosphere, a UNESCO-declared biosphere region and one of the last viable lion ranges on the planet. The white lion's birthplace was declared an ancient sacred site by African kings hundreds of years before the Kruger National Park was proclaimed in 1926, and the more recent United Nations accreditation at the turn of this millennium. But tragically, the white lions have been forcibly removed from their endemic wilderness territories for a documented period of over 6 decades into zoos and circuses around the globe and into death camps in South Africa's notorious cuddle-to-kill industry. To ensure the critical survival of the white lions while protecting the watershed in their area of origin, the Global White Lion Protection Trust has been purchasing large tracts of land since 2004, the heart of the white lion's ancestral territories. Significantly, the White Lion Heartlands spans the arterial river which serves the greater region, the only perennial waters in an area of some 100,000 hectares. Once a severely denuded habitat of radical biodiversity loss, the White Lion Heartlands has enjoyed dramatic regeneration under the pawprint of the apex predator. This recent Google Earth map records the contrast between Tsao, the White Lion Heartlands today, and the desertification of neighbouring lands directly bordering, where legalized commercial trophy hunting of lions has been taking place for decades. Just as wolves restored waterways in Yellowstone Park, so ecologists now recognize the apex predator's role in restoring balance throughout the trophic levels of the food chain in an ecosystem. As inspirational symbols of true service-based leadership, the white lions in our protected area restore health to their ecosystem and hope to human systems. Behind me is land that was once seriously degraded in the heart of the White Lion Heartlands. The Global White Lion Protection Trust has been purchasing large tracts of land in the white lion's endemic homelands and returning the lions to the wild in a scientific reintroduction program, because we know when the white lions flourish, all life flourishes. Today, all conservation issues are global issues. If Brazil loses its rainforests, Earth has lost her lungs. If South Africa loses its white lions, Earth has lost her heart. We can all feel it, the pulsing heart of the animal kingdom on Earth, the white lion's sacred natural site, revitalizing all the vital organs of our living planet. As the sun sets over the expanded heartlands of the white lions, about to walk their sacred pawprint in their sacred lands and restore nature's original coding of life for all of life, I wish you a blessed 2024.